Hello everybody and welcome back to Martins Does Wooden Models. And just take a look at this beauty from Rokr. This beautiful AK-47 assault rifle, obviously a wooden model, not real. I know a lot of people don't like guns, and trust me, I'm not a big fan of them either, but this is just a toy. This is something for you to build as fun. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have a quick chat about the actual kit, and then we're going to test it out because I have not tried it. I did try it once I was halfway through just to make sure that everything worked properly, but my actual rubber band chuck, it did not work properly, so I had to go back and fix it. And if you are having issues with your rubber band chuck, you can find a solution right here, because I've seen so many comments where people have assembled AK-47 and it turns out that their burst fire does not work, and then to try and go back and try and fix it, that is a big faff, you see. And before I continue reviewing this model, I just wish you all a Merry Christmas who celebrate it on the 24th. If you don't, then Merry Christmas Eve, I shall say. And I hope you all fill yourself with food and enjoy the time with your families. Okay, so about the actual kit, it did come with a little bit of wax, which is handy. It never came with a wee tool, so I got my own little tool that I kept from the Rokr model, and it's actually very handy to push out little wee things, because when you look at this board, the A board, there's so many tiny little pieces, and trust me, a little wee tool is handy to push them out. It did come with a flathead screwdriver as well. I kind of wish I'd never used flathead screws because they're not the easiest to kind of screw in, so a Phillips one would have been handy, but that's perfectly fine. Don't forget, once you actually start your kit, you need to assemble this little guy, because you will need it for these metal rods that are in this packet. The kit also came with this sandpaper, and it is great, but I actually basically used my own for quite a lot of this build, and that was 120 grit sandpaper, and that was much better. Also came with this little little thing, safety thing. It's not a safety thing really, it's just to kind of show people that it's a toy. You can pop it at the end of the gun, but I'm not going to pop it on there because it just looks very odd, you see, but you can do that if you want to. And yeah, of course, it came with a lot of springs as well that go right inside the AK. And you have to be very careful when you pop them in. You can't push them from the sides. They always just kind of go in the spot from the top. So you just pop them in from the top, push them in, easy. And when it comes to these metal rods, before you even put them in the model, make sure you separate them all size by size. So start from the smallest and go up to the highest, because if you won't do that, trust me, you will probably get it wrong. And yeah, it came with these golden long screws, which was nice. They're nice screws, apart from, as I mentioned, the flathead, not so keen. And the small screws, and the little wee plastic, however you want to call them. Like the things that basically hold your metal rods into place so they don't move. Also came with a big bag of rubber bands, which is handy, but don't forget, rubber bands do dry out in time, so you might in the future have to buy more rubber bands, because they just turn all really dry and hard, and as soon as you pull it, it'll just rip, you see. Okay, talking about actual boards, so the actual kit, it was nice, and I would say it was pretty straightforward to assemble. There were a few bits that were slightly confusing, but it was very easily fixed, as long as you follow the instructions correctly and do not skip the steps. And I'll give you a wee tip about instructions in a second, but as you saw, this wooden board, sheet board, however you want to call it, you choose. As you can see, there's only a few spare parts, so not that many. And same as here. See this one, that's nice and thick. That one's thin. So there are different sizes of pieces as well. And some of them, only a few didn't come out like nicely. I tried to use my little tool to push them out, and as soon as I moved it a little bit, a little wee chunk just kind of came out of the piece, and I wasn't that happy, but that only happened a couple of times, so it's fine, and it's hidden, we can't even see it. So when we look at this F board, not many spare parts. Again, D1, not many spare parts again. On this one though, however, on the G1, they gave us these two spare parts, which is very nice because these are very fragile. See, any parts on this brown board, they are very fragile. They pop out very easily, as you can see. Look at that, done very easily. But I wish the whole kit was like that, but then that would mean this would be very thin, and this is just slightly different wood, I'm pretty sure, from what this board is made of, basically, because it's so fragile, so easy to break pieces, so you've got to be very careful, especially when you assemble these parts right here. So yeah, be careful about that. Let's look at this board. Just basically no spare parts, only a couple things here, and then basically nothing here. This little guy here is for your flathead screws. It does help you to screw them in, but it's still slightly a pain in the backside. And also, as you can see, we've got our little soldiers here. These are the little guys that we're gonna try and aim at. I'm not too sure how the aim's gonna go on this, but I'm hoping it will be pretty decent. Okay, so now let's look at the actual gun. So it looks amazing. As you can see, this is our switch. So we can either switch to burst fire, so we just turn it up, or single fire, we turn it down. And you can feel the pressure change just a little bit. When you push it up, there's a bit of resistance. When you push it down, towards the end, it kind of just slots into place and it's quite loose. Then when we look at this side, here's our safety. So if we push it up, that means we're ready to fire, as you can see. If we push it down, it does move, but only slightly, and it shouldn't allow us to fire. But we're gonna see that in a second. So, about holding it, because I held it in a hand already, tried to like aim it. I didn't load it, just to aim it. There's one thing that I don't really like straight away, is that my hands are far too close to each other. There's not much space apart. I feel like this magazine should have been put a bit further, but then that would also mean the gun would be a little bit longer, but there's nothing wrong with that. If it was here, it would feel a bit more comfortable, because that's too close. It feels slightly uncomfortable for me, but then you might be feeling a bit different about it, but for me that's too close. Okay, as you can see, the actual gun, it does look amazing. And the one thing what I really want to do is I want to paint this. So if you saw one of my latest-ish videos where I spray painted my Magic piano gold and black, and it just looks absolutely amazing, like a miniature grand piano. Loved it. And then it gave me an idea. Well, why don't I paint this into a golden AK-47? I think that would look stunning. So I would paint this part, the magazine, this part here, and the front golden, and all the brown bits, I would leave them brown, but obviously I would repaint them and try to make you look metallic. I would love to know what you think about that, or if you got any other color ideas, please let me know, guys, down below in the comments section. I would love to know what you think about that idea. I personally think golden would look absolutely incredible. Right, enough of that blathering. Okay, now what we're going to do is, we've got our safety on, we're gonna load it and try out single fire. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we've got our rubber bands. Let's go and load it up. And because I've got 5 soldiers there and I'm only testing the single shot just now, I'm only gonna load 5 rubber bands. When it's gonna come to the burst fire, then I'm gonna load it up to 10, because that's the maximum apparently that you can load it at. And I'm not sure if you know how to load this, but just to let you know, the last rubber band that goes on here literally goes on your buffer hook. If you put a rubber band here and then you put one on your rubber band chuck, it's not gonna go down well, trust me. Okay, so I was gonna double fold it. I'm so used to that. We don't need to do it because I kept double folding it when it was half finished and I was testing it. So we stick one on the top and we come back to our rubber band chuck. Then we go back, turn it once, Once you hear that click, that's it. That means it's in the right place. So, because I said I want to shoot 5 rubber bands, I'm gonna load 4 on the rubber band chuck. So I've got 2 so far. We need 2 more. So we've got 3 now. Turn it again. Let's get another rubber band. Oh god, it's all like tangled up. Okay, so we've got 3, yep, 3. So here's 4. And because this is the 4th one, I only want to do 5 shots. We do not need to turn this. If we turn it and we put a rubber band on our buffer hook, so the one from the buffer hook will shoot, but it's not going to reload it. So we're going to have to pull this back, the bolt, to reload it basically. See that? That was a very good example actually. So we're going to move this back now. Okay, so we need 1 on our buffer hook now. They're all tangled up. Let's grab another one. Okay, so we go to the front again and onto our buffer hook. And now we can try it out. And now we can test it out. So just watch this. I know I'm a little bit close, but it's because the camera is not so far back. But we're going to see how it works, you see. I just realized I got safety on, and this is why safety is in place, you see. So just gonna turn it off. Right, let's go. How cool was that? It's actually quite powerful enough, because you wouldn't want, well, you definitely wouldn't want to aim this at someone's face, and you could put even more tension on it by basically double folding your rubber bands, but don't do that because you might actually damage someone's eye. You never know. So, well, to be honest, you shouldn't aim at people at all, or you might just damage your actual model. You see, don't forget, it's a toy really, it's not a real thing. Now let's go and test out the burst fire. So we just saw single fire, that was cool as hell, and now I've loaded it up with 10 rubber bands and my burst fire is on. Just remember, the second last rubber band that goes on the chuck, you do not need to turn it because it's not going to reload it automatically basically. And the last band goes on this little guy. I can't remember its name now. Anyways, are we ready to see the burst fire? As I said already, I know I'm a little bit close to the pieces because it can shoot up to, like, was it 2 to 4 meters, something like that. Anyways, you could feel it would shoot a few meters. But let's just see how this goes down. Now that was amazing. Did you see how fast they actually got rid of the rubber bands? That was amazing. And I actually moved the gun far too slowly because, as we can see, this guy's still standing. Come on, fall. Hey, still half stand. Oh my god! It does not want to fall. There we go, that'll do. So, absolutely awesome. And that is your AK-47 from Rokr. Absolutely magic. I have preloaded it again, but as you noticed, when I did my burst fire we practice, the safety was on, and this is why safety exists. So I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna put it on single fire just so you can see the mechanic kinda a little bit. So here's 1, there's 2, and now I'm gonna switch it to burst fire. Just watch it go. How cool is that? That is really fast and a lot of fun as well. Cannot wait to play about with that, I'll tell you. And I so hope you all enjoy this video, and it's definitely worth investing your money in this. It's quite a lot of fun to build because the bigger it gets as you keep assembling it, the more like exciting it gets, because to actually load it up and fire, it's actually really cool. And if you've used a BB gun before, you know how much fun it is, you know. They're toys still, but amazing fun toys. And I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and If you're watching this after Christmas, I hope you had an absolute blast. If you're watching it before, then Merry Christmas again, everybody. And yeah, thanks so much for watching again. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.